Hi, I'm Tom, and this is Adult Game Reviews. This week I played through Chapter 10 of Love Season, a VN by Muse X. You can play Love Season on Windows, Mac, and Linux. Have you ever dated someone that seems amazing on the surface, but over time you realize that, unfortunately, this person wasn't perfect?
You are so not who I thought you were.
Well, what you actually need to decide are any of these flaws deal breakers for you. That sums up my experience with Love Season pretty well, so hopefully my review helps you figure out if you can accept its flaws. But first, if you like the video, please like it and subscribe if you aren't. If you want to support the channel, head over to Patreon or Subscribestar to help support me to put out more content, more reviews, and more game lists. Okay, let's get into it. You play the farmer MC. You live with your father and totally not your sister Nova. Your father took her in when she was displaced. For reasons. People tend to view you as lazy and kind of a loser. Safe to say, you don't have the best reputation. Your best friend Nina is dating the popular soldier in town, and many of the girls want nothing to do with you. However, that changes one night when you save someone you care about. This is a common farmer to hero trope. This has a Knight's Tale kind of vibe with the fantasy setting but with rock music.
I'm a knight.
The renders have this overexposed look, which was pretty jarring at first. I ended up enjoying the renders quite a bit, and the overexposed bright features were toned down over time. All the love interests look pretty, but some look better than others. There were animations during the spicy content, but what you can see on the screen is pretty much what you get with some changes in Chapter 10. There is music and sound effects, but the music in my opinion was borderline bad. It was repetitive, incredibly generic, and most of the time didn't feel like it fit the situation. You have goblins, fairies, and rock music. I don't know, it just doesn't fit for me, but you have to decide if you were cool with it. And just so you know, I do feel like it worked in A Knight's Tale, but one of the few movies that made it work, but again, that's just me.
Why, God, did you curse me with this face?
Now onto the story. It felt like the story during Season 1 was pretty focused. You see the MC grow with each event, especially the ones where he's forced to rise to even greater challenges. It's what makes the farmer to hero trope so engaging. You get to grow and learn with the MC. There are choices along the way, but most of the choices I felt were just there to break up the story. You have to be okay with most of Love Season feeling like a kinetic novel. It wasn't until later chapters where there were actually any choices that did anything, but when we finally did have some actual choice, I thoroughly enjoyed those events. So up until about Chapter 4, I thought the story was great. Unfortunately, somewhere along the way I feel like the VN lost its way. You get to Chapter 4 and the story takes a backseat to pretty much constant spicy content.
It's too much! It's too much!
I mean, those scenes were done well, and it would have normally been fun if I feel like it didn't just completely destroy any plot progression. At one point, the love interests just started throwing themselves at the MC, which was fully atmosphere breaking, and I think it did a disservice to the well done spicy scenes. The plot from basically Chapter 5 to 9 was a complete waste of our time. You work, prepare, grow to have what you were preparing for just not to matter anymore. I was really thinking the buildup was going to lead somewhere, but it unfortunately fizzled out like a fart in the wind.
Man up and vanished like a fart in the wind.
Which brings me to the most disappointing part of Love Season, specifically Season 2, the use of AI art and images in Chapter 10. I don't necessarily have a fundamental issue with devs using AI to help with rendering or to enhance some images or backgrounds, but the shift was really jarring. There was always something uncanny valley with the use of too much AI art, and this was my experience with Chapter 10. The characters that I started to really care about looked different. It's not to say that they looked bad, but the reason I enjoyed the overexposed renders was because it felt unique. When Chapter 10 rolled around, it felt like I was looking at AI art on Reddit or Dolly. All the charm and nuance of the characters and visuals had, in my view, completely been thrown away. I always feel like AI is a great tool, but it shouldn't remove any individuality. If you're on my Patreon, I do a review of Steam games released every week, and if you have read my weekly list, you know how many paint-by-number garbage spicy puzzle games are out there that just use AI because it's easy. They're awful and make gaming worse. And to see Love Season do it, it was really disappointing.
I'm not mad, just disappointed.
So for me, no matter how much I like the love interest, the disjointed story, the excessive spicy scenes, and the use of AI, which was not marked in Love Season 2's Steam page by the way, means I can't recommend Love Season 1 and 2. I haven't been this disappointed playing a VN in a long time, so this is a pass for me. You can decide if these are issues that you care about, but I can't recommend something with this many problems, no matter how much I do enjoy aspects of it. Let me know if any of these issues will prevent you from playing it or what your experience was if you did play Love Season 1 and 2. I want to thank all my backers, and if you haven't seen my video on scam games, you can check that out right here. Thanks again. Until next time.